Hi, boys and girls. Hey, it's good to see you all again. Well, actually, I'm not seeing you, but it's good to be able to visit with you all again. By the time you probably see this, it's probably going to be getting closer to Easter. But I wanted to show you something that I made back around Valentine's Day. You know, on Valentine's Day, we make Valentines or we give Valentines to people we love. And I thought, well, who better to give a Valentine to than Jesus? Okay, so I figured, well, I'll make a Valentine for Jesus. So one day, well, I had to go somewhere, but I figured, well, I have a couple minutes here. I'll make a quick Valentine for Jesus. So I got a piece of paper and I started cutting it out and I got it like this and I thought, well, that's a Valentine, but it's not very good. And I thought, well, gee, I made it out of a white paper. It has to be red. A Valentine should be red. So then I went and I colored it, and you can see that there, but it didn't turn out so hot, did it? No. I just didn't spend that much time. I didn't spend enough time on it. So I figured, well, I'll start all over tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I'll do it. So the next morning I got up and I started, I got some nice red paper that I could make a Valentine out of. And I turned on the TV and I sat down in front of the TV and I started cutting out my Valentine. And it started out pretty good. But, you know, then Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig came on in a cartoon, and I just love Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig. Well, I was watching them, and I tried to finish my Valentine, and because I was distracted, well, you can kind of see this didn't turn out so hot either, did it? You know, it wasn't so good. I just didn't spend enough time on it, and I wasn't concentrating on it enough. Well, you know, that day I was reading in my Bible. I was looking in the Old Testament here, and you know, in the Old Testament, those were the Old Testament are days before God gave us Jesus here on earth. And, you know, in the Old Testament, people in those days, to show their love for Jesus and to be forgiven of their sins, what they would do is that they would make sacrifices to God. Now, a sacrifice, in case you just don't know what a sacrifice is giving up something that you own. And not just anything, it's giving up something that is important to you. So when people would make sacrifices to God, they usually sacrificed something like an animal or a bird, or sometimes if they didn't have animals or birds, they oftentimes were farmers and they might give some wheat or some of the grains, some of their crops. And what they would give to God, if they were going to sacrifice an animal, they didn't give an old sickly animal that, you know, it was sick and probably was going to die anyhow, or maybe it was a nasty animal that, you know, they just didn't like. Or if it was a bird, it wasn't a scruffy old bird that, again, wasn't very pretty. When they would sacrifice something, they sacrificed the very best of what they owned. That's what a true sacrifice is, okay? So when they would sacrifice something, whether it be something like a lamb or a pigeon or some grains, they would pick out the very best of what they had. Think about it a little bit. If you had a friend and you had a friend that you were playing with and they asked if they could maybe borrow a toy from you, and it's a really good friend, would you go and search through all your toys and find, oh, here's an old toy that I just don't play with anymore, or maybe it's a toy that's broken or just wasn't very much fun. Would you give him that to play with? Or would you give him one of the toys that, maybe one of your newer toys that you really had a lot of fun with and you knew they would really enjoy too? Well, you know, that's the kind of gift you would probably give them, or lend that toy to them. You know, God did that for us. What God did was that he gave his very best for us. And you know what that was? That was Jesus. He gave Jesus for us. So I thought, after thinking about that, I thought, well, those Valentines I made were pretty crummy. I need to concentrate and do my very best in making a really nice Valentine for Jesus. So what I did then, now this doesn't look like much, but it was a piece of paper, and I took time to fold it over like this and make a heart of just the right shape like that, just the right shape that I wanted. And then after I did that, I took a piece of my red paper that I had, and I cut it out, and I traced it over top, and I cut it out, and then on it I put, I love Jesus. Now, it's not perfect, is it? You know, I'm not very good at drawing letters or maybe centering things, but I tried to put it on there as best as I could. You know, so what can you do for Jesus? You know, I made a Valentine, and sure, you can make Valentine for Jesus too. But there are other ways that you can show your love for Jesus. Say you're at school. What God would have you do, just like he gave his very best in his son Jesus, you can do your very best when you're at school. Try your very hardest when in all of your classes. Listen to your teachers, respect your teachers. That's a way of showing your love for Jesus. How about when you're outside, maybe in the play yard or at home with your friends? You can respect all of your friends. You can go and if maybe there's somebody, maybe some other children in the playground who maybe don't have that very many friends, you can invite them to play with you. You can keep from teasing other people or criticizing or making fun of other children. All those things, you're showing your love for Jesus. How about at home? How do you think you can show your love for Jesus at home? Well, you can listen to your parents. When they ask you to do something, you can do those things cheerfully. Like, for example, how about cleaning your room, keeping your room clean? I know sometimes that's hard to do, but that's something that you can do for your parents. And in doing those things for your parents, you're showing your love for Jesus. You can help with the dishes and all kinds of things. Taking out the trash when you're asked to do that. Those are all ways that you can do your very best. And in that way, you're not only respecting your parents, but you're also showing your love and your respect for Jesus. So, what can you do this coming week? Well, you can, if you'd like, make a Valentine like I did. But even more importantly, maybe you can follow through in doing your very best for God. Because God gave us his very best gift of all, and that was his son Jesus, that all of our sins can be forgiven through just believing in Jesus. So I hope you can put those things to work this week in your lives, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a wonderful week, and I'll look forward to seeing you all again. Bye for now.